Welcome back to World of Immersion. Today we are going to be counting down the top 10 rides at Disneyland in our opinion. Now recently we had the chance to visit and ride the brand new Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, so this list will now include that. It is our brand new updated top 10 rides at Disneyland. But before we start today's video, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss when we have brand new content out on our channel. We are now going to be uploading daily. That means every single day we're going to have brand new videos for you to check out. So be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss these videos. And be sure to check out our merch. The link is in the description below. With that being said, let's get right into the video. Now, starting off at number 10, we have Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. Now, honestly, I wasn't a huge fan of this ride when it opened. However, it's definitely grown on me. Think of it like a better version of Star Tours. Now, in general, I'm really not a fan of motion simulator rides. However, the interactivity on this ride is just unbeatable. It is so cool. Honestly, though, if you're not the pilot, it's a lot less fun. If you're a pilot, it's one of the best rides ever. It is a ton of fun. You really are controlling exactly where you go. It is so cool. The ride vehicle actually reacts to you moving the controller and everything. It is so cool. But if you're a gunner or an engineer, it's not as interactive. It's harder to see what you're actually doing on the screen. So because what position you have really determines how good the ride is, that's why it ranks at number 10 and not any higher on this list. However, don't get me wrong, it is a ton of fun. Every single ride on this list is one of my favorite rides of all time. They are all a ton of fun. But for now, Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run sits at number 10. Alright, and coming in at number 9 is one of the oldest rides on this list, and is actually the oldest steel roller coaster, steel tubular track roller coaster in the world. This is the first one ever built, and that is Matterhorn Bobsleds. Now, this ride, while it's a little rough, it is a ton of fun. It is just crazy. It is so whippy around all of those turns. The theming is also fantastic. I love the theming on this ride. It just feels like a classic roller coaster, and I love it. It's such a classic Disneyland ride. I hope they never change it. It is so much fun. The Yeti's animatronics are actually pretty good. They usually work pretty well, which is really cool. And some of them can be kind of scary, especially when you dip down into the dark tunnel on each of the sides, and then you see the second Yeti. It is so cool. I'm a huge fan of this ride. I love Matterhorn, and I hope it stays for a long time to come because it's a ton of fun. And coming in at number 8 is another roller coaster, and that is Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Now, this ride is also so much fun. It is one of my childhood favorite roller coasters. I have been on this ride so many times. As a kid, it was my favorite ride at all of Disneyland, so of course it had to be on this list. But just in general, it is such a great ride. It is one of the best mine trains out there. It is so well themed. The rock work is amazing. There are some animatronics here and there. And that final scene with the room exploding around you is so cool. Even if the drop following that is really disappointing, the rest of the ride is so much fun. And it's actually pretty intense. It's got some solid pops of airtime depending on where you sit. And it's really whippy, especially in the back row. It's one of my favorite mine trains in the world, if not my favorite. So that's why it comes in at number 8. And coming in at number 7, we have the classic Haunted Mansion. I've always been such a huge fan of this ride. In fact, it actually scared me a little bit when I was little. But this ride is so good. It is one of the most immersive rides of all time. It really sets such a good tone and vibe. As soon as you walk into that pre-show room, the pre-show is also so incredible. It's still one of the best pre-shows of all time. That stretching room is so cool. It scared me so much as a kid. In fact, the first time I rode this, I had to leave before the ride even actually started because the pre-show scared me way too much. But now it's one of my favorite rides of all time. I am such a huge fan, and like I said, that pre-show is incredible. But the ride itself, the Omnimover system, works so well for this type of ride. It has some of the best theming and best sets of all time, especially that big finale set is so incredible. Overall, it's just one of the most immersive rides I've ever been on, and Haunted Mansion still remains such a good classic dark ride. Alright, and coming in at number 6, we have the Pirates of the Caribbean. This is one of the best dark rides on the planet. It is so incredibly immersive. I know I've used that word a lot in this video, but this ride is so amazing. It is seriously one of the coolest dark rides in the world. It tells such an incredible story, and it really puts you into the different environment. It is so different than any other ride out there. This boat ride is so incredible. It's also one of the longest rides ever. It is almost 15 minutes long, which is crazy for a dark ride. Most rides are around 2 to 4 minutes, especially at Disneyland, which is so crazy that Pirates of the Caribbean is this long. It's just so incredibly immersive. There are so many animatronics, and the sets are incredible, which is why it comes in so high on this list. It's one of my favorite rides of all time. All right, and now we've made it to the top 5 on this list, and I could completely understand if any of these 5 were your number 1 in the park. They are all incredible. But coming in at number 5 for me is going to be the brand new Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I am such a huge fan of this ride. I think it is actually incredible. It is also crazy that this ride is in Disneyland. It's such a huge ride, so it's crazy they're able to fit it inside of Disneyland because of how small Disneyland is. Now, I had already been on it over in Orlando at Hollywood Studios, and while I loved it there, I love it even more here. Our queue at Disneyland is so much better. It is so immersive. It's such a long queue, too. There's so much to look at, so many detailed sets and physical pieces to look at while you're in line for the ride. And just the theming overall is so incredible. Themed like a movie theater, it is so cool. I love it so much. And then when you get on the ride itself, it is such an incredible and immersive ride. It's so similar to those old classic rides. I don't want to compare them because they're very different, but if anything, they are pretty similar. It sets such a cool vibe and tone throughout the whole ride. It's such a whimsical ride. It is so much fun. The screens work so well with the physical sets. They are blended so perfectly. And just overall, it is such an incredible ride. I am such a huge fan of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. It utilizes the trackless technology so well. It is so much fun, and I would definitely recommend it if you're visiting Disneyland. Coming in at number 4, we have Splash Mountain. Now, this ride is actually not going to be on this list for very much longer. It's going to be changed to Tiana's Bayou Adventure, and I'm sure, if anything, it will only go up on this list because the new retheme looks like it's going to be incredible. But for now, Splash Mountain's at number 4, and it is such an incredible ride. It is one of the best log flumes out there, if not the best. It's my personal favorite log flume out there. It is so much fun. It is so immersive. It's one of the only log rides that is so immersive. It has some of the best theming in the world, and the 3 drops that it has are actually so great. That second drop in the dark gets you completely soaked. If you are in the front row, it is like you jumped into a pool. It is so much fun, especially on a hot day. It's so refreshing. But just overall, the theming is incredible. It's got some great soundtrack throughout the entire ride, and that final drop is so much fun as well. But it also has so many animatronics. It's so immersive, and I can't wait to see what they do with it to turn into Tiana's Bayou Adventure. I think it's going to be an incredible retheme, and I'm super excited for that. Hopefully opening next year. All right, so now we've made it to the top 3, and these top 3 could each individually be my number 1 in the park. It really just depends on the day. They are all so incredible. But for me, coming in at number 3 is going to be Indiana Jones Adventure. This ride is so incredible, especially after refurbishment. Before the refurbishment, there were a ton of effects that were not working, some animatronics that were broken, but now after the refurbishment, it is so much better. The snake animatronic is fixed. They added some new scenes where it used to be just completely black walls and nothing, and they finally fixed the finale scene. It works now like it's intended to do. And overall, this ride is so much fun. I know I've used the word immersive a lot in this video, but this ride is truly so immersive. Hey, I mean, our channel name is World of Immersion, but this ride is just so much fun. I am such a huge fan of Indiana Jones. The ride system is also so incredible. It's so thrilling while not even being that fast. It's crazy how they're able to come up with this ride system, especially with the fact of how old this ride is. It's crazy how old this ride is, and how the effects it had still work and still hold up so much today. It is so much fun. I am such a huge fan of Indiana Jones, and I would definitely recommend it to anybody that's visiting Disneyland. All right, and coming in at number 2 is my favorite roller coaster in the park, and that is Space Mountain. I am a huge sucker for this ride. I seriously have said over and over again, countless times, that this may be one of the most perfect rides and roller coasters ever built. It is a long ride. It's thrilling while not being too crazy thrilling that it turns people away. And it has one of the best, if not the best, ride soundtracks of all time. That soundtrack will get stuck in your head for hours after you get off the ride. And it syncs up so perfectly to the ride. It is a fun, thrilling ride, and while it doesn't tell a story, it doesn't need to. That's not what this ride is about. It's about immersing you into the space environment and just thrilling you. It is so much fun. I am such a huge fan of Space Mountain. You will ride this, and you will understand why it is so incredible. And like I said, it is one of the most perfect, if not the most perfect ride ever built, in my opinion. However, it is not my number 1 in the park, and that honor goes to the new Rise of the Resistance. Star Wars Rise of the Resistance is one of the most incredible and impressive rides ever built. It makes perfect sense why this is the most expensive ride built at Disneyland, because this ride is huge. Everything from the queue to the first pre-show to the first ride system. That's right, this utilizes 2 different ride systems. In fact, you could even call it 3 because of that final drop into the motion simulator section. It is just crazy how much this ride does. and how big these sets are. One moment I will never forget in my theme park experience is getting off of that shuttle for the first time and the doors opening into the Star Destroyer. It is so incredible. You see all of those stormtroopers, some of which are animatronics, but not all of them even need to be, because it is just so incredible seeing that set. It feels so huge, and it is huge. That set is incredible. And then the first time we were on the actual ride and you go into the room with the two AT-ATs, it is just so unbelievable that that exists in a theme park. It is still crazy to me that that ride exists. It is such an incredible ride. I don't want to spoil too much more of it, but it has some of the best effects on any ride of all time. And it's also a thrilling ride too. It's a trackless dark ride that provides some thrill. I can go on and on about Rise of the Resistance for years. This ride is so incredible, but the only way that I'll ever be able to do it justice is for you to be able to go out there and ride it yourself. So please be sure to go check out Rise of the Resistance, especially if you're visiting Disneyland. But that is going to do it for my top 10 rides at Disneyland in 2023. Please be sure to comment down below how you would rank your top 10 rides and what you think of my list. I know everybody's going to have a very different opinion about these rides, so please be sure to comment down below your top 10. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at World of Immersion as well, and thank you so much for watching today's video, and we'll catch you in the next one.